that system did. They kidnapped me, man. They forced me to do slave labor for 14 and a half years. All that time in there, I fought for my life, man. People don't know. You know, like the brother that they accused me of killing, I never knew this brother. Never met him before in my life. Even his coach, even the dude that was with him and stuff. You know, that's how I knew this case was bogus, because you got people talking about these guys had, whoever killed this brother, they had masks on. Now, you got a man with them saying like, yo, these dudes had masks on, I don't know what they look like. Black, this and that, but you got this brother saying that he can see me through a mask, he can see the gun and anything. That's why when the question was posed to him, do you know he said that, asked him what type of gun did I have? He said 9mm. Then they asked him, do you know the difference between a revolver and an automatic? He said no. So right then and there, I told the lawyer, file for a motion to dismiss, because how you gonna say I had this type of gun, but you don't know the difference between a revolver and an automatic? You know what I'm saying? Then you got one of the dudes that was actually there when his friend got killed. He's telling you, yo, these dudes had masks on. You couldn't tell what they looked like, but you could pull me out on having this mask on, talking about I had a bulge, this and that. Hey, if you got some type of superhero powers, man, let me know. You know, because it's like the way they come about with these convictions, they get these convictions off of hearsay. Because somebody said this, somebody said that. You don't got no strong evidence. Like, you don't got no gun, you don't got no clothing, you don't got nothing. All you got is this guy talking about, he see that I did this. So that's what you convicted me on. Then not only that, you trying to give me a gun charge, but you don't got no gun. And that's the thing. Guys are being charged with crimes in which that you don't got no evidence on. How you gonna give me a gun charge, possession of a firearm, but you don't got the firearm?
With that point you're making right there, in your opinion, how hard is it for brothers in a situation like that? Do you know I'm innocent or I'm being overcharged? I want to advocate for my freedom, but I have a bond that I can't post. I'm stuck inside corrections, and I need to advocate for my freedom. How hard is that for a person in those circumstances?
It's hard. It's real hard. It's real hard, because if you don't have nobody on the outside pushing for you, it's like you really gotta. The one thing that I did, I wrote a lot of people. I stayed with stacks of envelopes and notepads. I constantly was writing people. I was constantly writing these organizations, and they all was coming back saying the same thing. Ain't nothing they can do.
They did the same thing to me, brother.
Ain't nothing they can do.
I wrote all of these organizations and asked them for support, and they all turned their back. And I feel like that's something we need to talk about on a later note, because in Black and Brown, in our community, we're gonna talk about New Haven. We're gonna not sugarcoat this. There's a couple of agencies in New Haven that claim that they do social justice work and they're out here for the people.
They lying.
Because I've been in personal situations where I've needed the support of these resources, and they turned their back on me. And they didn't only do it to me, they did it to you, and they did it to countless other brothers behind the wall. And what they say is that your case doesn't set a precedent. So if your case doesn't set a precedent, it's an individual situation where when you're telling somebody like me that's wrongfully convicted, that's behind the walls, how can you tell somebody like that their case doesn't set a precedent? It's a precedent. You don't understand the precedent of people. There's a large population of people that are overly charged and wrongfully convicted that are in the Department of Correction in Connecticut fighting for their freedom.
With these organizations, if they can't get no media time, they They can't get no media time and they don't want nothing. They ain't got nothing. They ain't dealing with you. The only reason why a lot of things is at the height of where it is right now is because it's like, you've been killing us for the longest, but now it's on video. Now, it's viral now. You got people all across the nation looking at this. Like, wow, in this country right here, this land of the free, home of the brave. That's your moniker. That's what you said. This is land of the free, home of the brave. This ain't no land of the free and home of the brave, man. You're only free unless what your bank account looking like. Your bank account don't fit the status quo, bro. Then you at the bottom. You like the gum under the table. You like the gum under the table. Stick the gum up under the table. That's what you is. The gum under the table. They don't advocate. If they don't advocate, man. And I hate to say this, man. I'm gonna put this out there. And I really don't care. A lot of these black organizations and stuff, they not for us. They not for us. All they for is lining their pockets or being able to sit in front of the media and talk about this and talk about that. Yo, why we gotta always talk when it comes to killing us or something or locking us up for something crazy? You always want to sit down and dialogue, man. Sometimes I'm tired of talking. Sometimes you gotta have to get out there and get bloody. Like Malcolm said, later for all that marching and singing, you better be marching and swinging. Because if it had to come to that, it had to come to that. You see it. Over 20 years ago, they beat a man. They beat that man Rodney King mercifully. They got it on videotape. They beat on that man for a whole half an hour, man. And them dudes still walked away from that. They still walked away from that. Yeah. Even to now, like, they show the video, you got 4 police officers sitting on this man's chest.
It's almost like, to me, and I've been a victim of, I was shot in the chest by a police officer in 2010, and it's almost from being in that condition and being in that situation and just watching all of these shootings that's happening right now, it's almost like they're conditioning us to accept this as the norm. Like the world is supposed to accept black and brown people getting shot by the police, getting, like you said, getting sat on, choked, all of this stuff. It's like this stuff is being imposed on the masses to say, hey, get used to seeing black people getting treated like this by law enforcement. This is the norm. And we've accepted. I feel like there was a time I got shot in 2010. It was before Trayvon Martin. It was unheard of for something like that. It was something that was rare. And as time went on, you figure now we're in 2021, it's not rare no more. Because we've seen countless accounts of it happening in front of your kids, in front of your partner, in a car, like just countless situations where it's happening all across the nation.
And it depends on, like, with the officer, with a lot of these cases with these police officers, it's like, the reason why, like, that dude caught with the George Zimmerman, not the George Zimmerman, like the last brother, Floyd, with the Floyd case. They smoked that dude boots. Reason why they smoked his boots is because you got caught in a long line of dudes doing some grimy stuff, but it just so happened you the last person they caught with this, and you the scapegoat. Exactly. You the poster child.
Or how many people got away with it before you clipped one person off? Yeah. One cop got convicted. How many cops got away from it? It's cops that killed Malik Jones. Those cops never got convicted.
16 shots.
It's the cops that shot me. We can go even a little deeper. It's a police officer that shot me. He's still on the police department. They gave him a medal after he shot me, matter of fact. And this is just the reality of what we got to go through on a normal basis. And, it's sad that we have to go through that, but I hope that for the community, they see this as, they didn't beat us down. They didn't beat us down. What they wanted to do was take away your voice. They wanted to take away my voice.
That's
They didn't want us to be able to sit down and talk about the reality of what we went through so we can hopefully empower communities that's watching this and say, yo, those brothers right there went through some stuff and they made it through. We could do it too.
yeah. That cause see, it's like man, with these organizations, man, they're a gimmick. They're a gimmick, man. It's like they're a gimmick.
That's why we gotta, you know
It's
what,
like-
brother?
and
That's
it's
why
like-
me and you right now,
And I
we
feel
gotta
like-
start our own organization
And I feel
because
like-
we know these organizations don't like. Why we can't leave the fate of what's happening in the community in these organizations' hands when we know these organizations not doing the people right. If we gotta be the change, we gotta start our own stuff, create our own resources.
Yeah, like with brothers, like these brothers that get these charges and stuff, they don't really got no family member coming out there supporting them. Now, they're part of this organization, or if somebody's doing an organization now, when they look up in court, they got 3 or 4 brothers sitting there with them,
Exactly.
like we supporting you.
The community, we
Yeah.
need to build that community within our community where brothers going through stuff like that, they got that support.
But we don't trust each other enough, man. That's the
We
thing.
have to change that.
Yeah, we have to change the trust within each other. And plus, too, it's like most people, they feel like they don't want to follow nobody. Like for us, for instance, I'm Muslim. In Islam, there's no vying for leadership position. In order for you to be an imam, this is the prerequisites right here. The prerequisites is this: you have to have this certain amount of knowledge. In the Quran, in the Hadith, the Prophet Muhammad said, they said, who should be the imam? They said the one who's well versed in Quran. When I mean well versed in Quran, meaning that you know the legalities of everything it is that you're reading. You know why this surah was revealed, where it was revealed at, what it was revealed for. You know what I'm saying? You could break down each verse in there and explain it. It don't go on because, oh, I can recite 20 surahs. No, you just know how to recite, but do you know them?
Exactly.
See, Islam is about leadership positions come about what you know. It ain't what you can recite or what you can read. No, it's what you know.
It's about reading comprehension.
Yeah, and see now you got people in leadership positions. They dumb. They don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. But it's one of the signs, though. One of the signs is that, yo, it's going to come a time where people going to be in leadership position they're not qualified for. It's all about a paycheck. With these black organizations, people starting these black organizations, it's about the paycheck. It's about getting these grants and everything. That's why you got all these so-called programs and stuff. But a lot of brothers don't need these programs. Well, a lot of these brothers, what they need is that they need to be able to all right, I need a job, train me for this job. But to go get some type of training now, it doesn't turn into a big business.
Nah, you're right. You know, just the grant funding. I mean, it just got ridiculous to a point, and it's not even just black, because I see a lot of people that are not from the community getting the funding. You know, they're not from the community getting the funding, and they get a couple of people from the community to stand with them.
That's the thing, right? See, that's the thing right there. We got a lot of outsiders coming in. We got a lot of outsiders making money off the backs of the people of the community and stuff. And then you're not even trying to help brothers and sisters with jobs and stuff, but you want them to socialize with your organization and everything. You know, I sit back and I watch. A brother had said something. He was saying something, and I had to tell the brother. I was like, "Yo, the church is relevant. And the church ain't relevant no more in these communities. So they ain't relevant no more. A lot of places they not relevant no more. The reason why they not relevant because if they can't make no money, I ain't wasting my time going out there. Shoot, show me where the check at. I'll be out there. Yeah, they'll be out there with the cardboard saying whatever. Let freedom ring. As long as they got a check coming. That's why you ain't hear nothing about these black. You won't hear nothing about nobody black standing up for us no more. You won't hear nothing. Jesse Jackson, a thing of the past, man. You don't hear nothing from these dudes no more. You hear about these dudes on their podcasts and everything, but do you really see these dudes? These dudes always saying something after several of us done got killed or choked out by the police. Or, spent 20 or 30 years in prison for a crime you didn't commit. And now they just did a little cotton swab on you and come back now, you ain't do it. You ain't do it. You locked them brothers up in New York talking about that rape, man. Took them boys' lives. And the man who did it was telling y'all that he did it. But it took y'all over 20-something years to figure out that these boys ain't do it because of DNA. You know what I'm saying? That's the norm.
That's crazy.
That's the norm where like, all right, I can convict you for this crime and this and that, and then after 20 years to find out you ain't do it. Oh, my bad. My apologies. Sorry about that.
What would you want to tell the people in that situation? We know that people are still in that situation. There's still people behind those walls fighting for their freedom.
I tell brothers don't give up. Like for me, like constantly go. If you got access to the law library there, go. Go. Main thing you should do, get yourself a dictionary. And then once you get yourself a dictionary, get yourself a thesaurus. And I'll get me I had a Latin English dictionary because a lot of legal terminology is in Latin.
It's in Latin.
So that's what I had did. I mean, like, constantly read, constantly, up your vocabulary, up your understanding of language and stuff, because it can help you. It can help you. That's like, when you sitting there in court, you can follow what's going on. When you don't understand the terminology that's going on, you lost. You lost.
And a lot of times the courts, they exploit that.
Yeah.
Somebody not knowing the law, I mean, you just got to take for face value what somebody's telling you. And a lot of times, and then the reality is that puts you at a disadvantage.
Some cases, like, I seen some cases in which where, like, I read a few cases and I was like, yo, how did this dude get convicted on this? Or why did this dude take this time? Because some dudes, they have you sit 2-3 years in the county jail on a charge which is bogus, but being that you done sat there so long, they come with an offer, yeah, I'll take that. Rather than not knowing that if you somebody would have told you, yo, fight, let your voice be heard, you can get that joint dismissed. You can get that dismissed. The only reason why, when they overturned my case was overturned May 21st of 1998. They arrested me March 3rd of 1992. So, the only reason why they came with an offer that they came with on me is because they couldn't find none of the witnesses. You couldn't find none of the witnesses, and then the judge put them under the gun. Like, listen, find these witnesses, you got 30 days. If not, I'm sentencing Mr. Myers to manslaughter. So now, the minimum on manslaughter is 9 years back then. The max was 20. So now, the judge he was going to sentence me at the minimum, which is 9 years. So now, they go to the drawing board, they calculate it. They come to find out. When that judge sentenced me, I go back to the county jail, they got to let me go. Reason why they got to let me go is because of my good time. And I'm in the criteria to be released. So time served. That's what the state of Connecticut didn't want. They didn't want that judge to sentence me to that manslaughter 9 years because right then and there it would have been time served. They'd have had to let me go right there at that courthouse.
So what ended up happening with your sentence? Now, before you answer that, I want to just put into perspective. You're wrongfully convicted. You have 100 years. You finally got the court to pay attention to your case. The situation you're in right now, what's the situation the courts are putting you in? An innocent person that is wrongfully convicted for 100 years. What's the position the courts put you in?
The position you're in is that you got to end up taking what they put before you.
And what did they end up putting in?
They put 20 years before me. I had to weigh that from 100 years to 20 years. No, that's a big difference. That's 80 something years.
What would have happened if you didn't take that 20-year sentence? What?
I still
what
be
fate-
incarcerated. I still be incarcerated right now. I still be incarcerated right now, but I know one thing: I want to be incarcerated in the state of Connecticut. I already told myself that in my mind. I said, "Ain't no way I'm gonna do all this time in the state of Connecticut. They might as well put me in the federal system, where I got better advantage. I got movement and everything." You know what I'm saying? When in the state of Connecticut, having the time that you had, man, it's like a death sentence. It's like a death sentence. That's why I can understand why that dude Michael Ross wanted to be killed. Why he pushed to be put down, because he's sitting on death row. You've been on death row almost 40 something years, man. It ain't no time. They don't plan on killing you in no time. The last time they killed anybody in the state of Connecticut was in 1968. Dude named Mad Dog or whatever.
There's no death row in Connecticut.
Ain't not no more
Yeah.
because of Jody Rell. Because of Jody Rell. Because at the same time, you gotta remember, when they did this moratorium, a lot of states was finding out a lot of dudes that was on death row, they didn't commit their crime. Like for instance, Illinois, state of Illinois, they had like 7 dudes on death row, man, that through the innocent projects was exonerated. 7 dudes. The judge did, he had to do a moratorium. He had to give everybody life that was on death row, because he was like, we don't even know if we might have killed somebody that was innocent. And that's the whole thing of it. This dude Barry Sheck with the innocent project, you know, I support them. I support any organization that's humbly and truthfully trying to get brothers out of jail.
And sisters too.
And sisters, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you have to really weigh who you align yourself with.
If you could, everything we've been talking about right now, we've been talking about the flaws within the criminal justice system. You talk about your personal experience, things that you went through that resulted in the negative experience you had to go through.
Well,
If it was one thing, not even one thing, if it was some stuff that could get changed in the court system, to change where somebody never have to go through what you went through.
the one thing that I really want to be seen done is the fact that with the jurors, I feel like as African Americans, we need to stop. We need to play our part and become a part of the jury pool, because when we begin to opt out of that right there, we do a disservice to whoever it is, to the brother or the sister. Because being part of that jury selection and everything, you can help brothers out, because especially if you coming from this type of neighborhood that they coming from, you know. But then again, you get some people up there, because I had a black up there, dude was like, his mindset was on some other stuff, because he felt that he was one of those quote unquote well-to-do blacks. You know, we got those. That's them Velveteen Negroes. I call them Velveteen Negroes is because of the fact that they act like they doo-doo don't stink. You know what I'm saying? Because they accomplished this and accomplished that. All right, you accomplished it. But what is you doing to give back to your community and anything? You know what I'm saying?
I'm a firm believer. Once you accomplish, like, especially great success, you should come back and inspire the community to make the people that's coming after you feel like they can accomplish this level of achievement. We have an obligation when, even like you going through what you went through, you know, you overturn that wrongful conviction. You have an obligation to show the people, like, listen,
Like,
you know, I was in this position, you could be in this position too.
Like right now, what I'm trying to do through my thing, which is my thing is Black Market Society. What I'm trying to do now is like, I'm trying to have a class to where teach people what their Miranda rights is. The Miranda rights is you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, your court will appoint one to you. This is your Miranda rights. This comes from a guy named Miranda. His name is Miranda. The case is Miranda versus Arizona. I read this case. This is what they supposed to read to you upon your arrest, but they don't do that. What I want to do, I want to be able to teach young brothers, oh, when you encounter police, this is your rights. You need to know your rights. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, make people aware about the jury selection. Yo, utilize your right and become a juror. You're helping brothers out, brothers and sisters in there. You're helping them out. You know, don't fall into that. Oh, even if a person did commit a crime, under the law, you're protected based on these laws. Whether you're guilty, like they said, innocent, they're innocent until proven guilty. You know, that's part of the law. But when it comes to us, it's like you guilty and you gotta prove yourself innocent. You know what I'm saying? You gotta prove yourself innocent, because that's what I felt like. I felt like, yo, you guilty, you gotta prove your innocence. And that's the only thing I kept in my mind, prove my innocence. They came with the underhanded tactics, putting informants in the cell, dude asking about your case, or I come back from court, my cellie going through my legal stuff. I had to, man, get this dude up out of here, man, before I end up hurting him. Because you have to really be mindful. This is some of the underhanded tactics that they do. You know, they put informants around you in order to get information and everything. And so, man, this case is so crazy. They even may have one of those sheriffs come upstairs and get on the stand to ask him if I said anything to this dude. If I said something to the guy that was testifying against me and stuff, because now it's like because the case ain't looking right for him.
Wow.
The case ain't looking right for him. That's the only reason why they came and gave me the deal, is because they just still wanted their conviction. They just wanted the conviction. It didn't even have nothing to do with justice or getting justice for the family. It's just that they wanted the conviction. And that they already knew, like, I done beat you already in the highest court. State Supreme Court overturned my case. No judge dissented or nothing. They all unanimously say, yo, you messed up in this case. They made my trial judge come out of retirement, because they want him to clarify why he vacated on my judgment, because I filed a motion for a new trial based on evidence, because I had a juror lie. And I found out. So I filed for a new trial. The judge vacated the judgment, I was getting ready to get a new trial. The state, Connecticut, they appealed it, and he overturned it and upheld my conviction, which he messed up. In the case called State of Connecticut, State versus Alameda. You have to bring something from the realm of speculation to the realm of fact. And what happened is that when I filed the motion and the judge asked the prosecutor, are they in agreement or disagreement to this motion? The prosecutor said he has no disagreement with it. So once he said that, anything after that